Do you have a Facebook group with thousands of members? If so, your Facebook group could be worth big bucks. I know this personally because I was fortunate enough to sell one of my former Facebook groups for over 7 figures. And by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to know in order to sell your Facebook group too. Let's dive in. If you've grown your Facebook group to thousands of members or maybe tens of thousands of members, congratulations. You know how much work goes into growing a Facebook group like that, which is why Facebook groups can be so valuable, even worth millions of dollars. So if you're thinking about selling your Facebook group, here's some of the things you need to consider. Number one, what are Facebook's rules? What are Facebook's rules when it comes to selling a Facebook group? Well, let's take a look. Here's what Facebook says in section 3.2 of their terms of service. It says, you will not buy, sell, rent, or lease access to your Facebook account, groups, or a friend connection on Facebook. Well, case closed, right? You can't sell a Facebook group. Not so fast. It's important to understand what Facebook meant in that section and why that was included in their terms of service. There's really 2 reasons. The first is that Facebook wants to make it ultra clear that you and I don't own anything on Facebook. Even if you grow a Facebook group to hundreds of thousands of members, you're simply using Facebook's platform. You're not the owner of it, and therefore you don't have the right to sell something that you don't own. The second reason why Facebook made that statement in its terms of service is because it wants to help avoid spam on the Facebook platform. You can see right here it says, Facebook says the practice referring to selling Facebook groups, falls under the spam section of its community standards rules, although there is no specific line that says this. It is very important to Facebook that its platform stay spam-free, that it provides a good user experience. And what it wants to avoid is group owners who grow these huge groups to sell off their groups to a different person or a different company who then come in and spam or maybe even scam the group members. That would be a bad experience for all the members of that group. And so Facebook is saying, we don't want you to sell your Facebook group if there's potential of it leading to spam or scams that violate Facebook's community guidelines. So what does all of this mean for you if you want to sell your Facebook group? Well, going back to my story, when I sold my Facebook group, I didn't technically sell my Facebook group. As we just looked at, Facebook has made it very clear, we don't own our Facebook group. So instead, I sold a business which included the rights to access the Facebook group that came along with it. That satisfied Facebook's first condition. Next, it was up to me to find a buyer who would take over that group and nurture that group and continue to operate that group much like the way that I'd been operating it. It was important that the buyer continues to follow Facebook's community guidelines. And more on that in just a second. We'll talk more about how to find the right buyer for your Facebook group. But in conclusion, what does Facebook say about selling groups? It says that you don't actually own a group, but you can sell an entity that has access to a Facebook group as long as the new owner is going to uphold Facebook's community guidelines. So that's what Facebook has to say about selling Facebook groups. But the next question is, how much value does your Facebook group actually have? Well, let's take a look at that. Number 2, how much is your group worth? When it comes to Facebook groups, size does matter, but it's not the only thing that matters. Just because you have a group with tens of thousands of members doesn't mean that group is worth millions of dollars. Nor does it mean that if you have a small group, maybe with just 1,000 or 2,000 members, does it mean that that group isn't worth much? Think about this. The group that I previously sold was a relatively small group. It had 30,000 members in it, but it was proven to be a very profitable group. Take a look at this. This is over in a Stripe account that was associated with that previous Facebook group. And you can see that that group earned almost $2.5 million. It was earning somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000 per month. So while my old group wasn't huge, it was full of quality members. The group was consistently growing and it had a proven track record of earning revenue. Now compare that to a group hypothetically that let's say has 100,000 members. So over 3 times the amount of members. But let's say in that group, the members aren't that engaged. And let's say that group isn't earning a lot of revenue. Which group would you rather have? Of course, you'd like to have the more profitable group, even though it's a smaller group. So if you're thinking about selling your group, it's really important to be able to show a potential buyer that your group is monetizable. Either it's made money in the past or there's a clear path to make money in the future. So let's assume that that is true for your group. Either you're already making money from your group or there's a clear path to do so in the future. How do you find a buyer? That's the 3rd step in this process. How do you find the right buyer for your Facebook group? Well, when it comes to finding a buyer for your Facebook group, there are really 2 candidates that emerge. Number 1 is a competing group admin. So it's someone else who runs a similar group to the group that you have. And this person has already proven to be able to monetize their group. So when they see your group and see that there are similar members in your group, they know they already have a process that works for monetizing groups like yours. And therefore acquiring your group and all the members inside your group is just a faster way for them to be able to grow their business. That's candidate number 1. Candidate number 2 for buying your group is a competitor in your niche who doesn't have a group. So think about all your competitors. Perhaps one of them would like to have a Facebook group. They want to have an online community, but either they don't know how to build one or they haven't taken the time to do so themselves. And so they see your group, they know that they want your group, that it would be a valuable asset for their business, and therefore they'd be more interested in buying your group as opposed to starting one for themselves. Now, in my case, when I sold my former group, I found a competitor who already was an admin of their own Facebook group, but their group was much smaller and it wasn't as highly monetized as my group. And so that made my group very attractive to them. They got a bigger audience and they got a process for monetizing Facebook groups in that niche. So it was a no-brainer for them to want to purchase my Facebook group. And chances are there are buyers out there who would look at your group in a similar light. Now let's take a look at step number 4 in this process, and that is, what is the process of actually selling your Facebook group? Well, to reiterate what we've already talked about, we can't actually sell a Facebook group because we don't own anything on Facebook. You don't own your group, nor do I own any of my groups. Instead, you want to sell a separate entity that includes access to the Facebook group. You'll likely want to hire a lawyer to write up a legal agreement. What's included in the sale, aside from just the Facebook group, that includes the purchase price, the payment terms, and what's included in the sale. So for example, the last Facebook group that I sold, it did include the Facebook group, but it also included branding elements that came along with the business. It included online assets like online courses and curriculum. It included an email list and some other pieces of value that were attractive to the buyer. Now, once that legal document has been written up and has been signed by both parties, you're going to want to make the purchaser an admin of your group. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go over to one of my groups here and let's just scroll down. Let's say that I wanted to make Chris, let's say he was buying this group. I wanted to make him the new admin. I'd simply click on these 3 dots beside Chris's name, and then you can see it says invite as admin. So you want to do that to the purchaser. They will then get a notification from Facebook saying they've been invited to become the admin of your group. They'll accept that invitation and then they'll be listed up here under admins and moderators. And you can see that I'm under the members tab in case you're not sure where to find this. So they'll be listed here as an admin. And now once you're comfortable that this sale has closed, you'll want to remove yourself as an admin. So you can see here, I'm going to go beside myself, Dave Smith here. I'll click on the 3 dots and you can see it says remove as admin. And that's going to remove yourself as an admin of the group, leaving the new owner as the admin of the group. Now there's something very important I want to make mention of here. Once you do this, once you remove yourself as an admin, it's impossible to make yourself an admin again. So if for any reason you ever wanted to become the admin of this group, the only way for this to happen would be if one of the new admins were to add you as an admin. So please, please, please make sure that you do not remove yourself as admin until you're sure that the deal is closed and the new owner has taken over admin rights of the group. Now, number 5, I want to give you a warning when selling your Facebook group. One lesson I learned in selling my previous Facebook group is that the new owner, no matter how well-intended they are, they're not going to be you. The way they engage in your Facebook group, the way they nurture members, the way they create content or message those members, it's going to be different than the way that you did it. And if you spent a lot of time and energy building up relationships with the members of your group, there is a chance that they're going to notice a difference, and there is a chance that they're not going to appreciate the change. And in the short term, this could have detrimental effects to your group. Engagement could go down, the growth of your group could go down, the monetization of your group, the revenue that it's earning could go down. And it's even possible that if the new group owner has a style that's very different from your own, it's possible that your group could die altogether. So if you're going to sell your group, make sure that you're comfortable with that, knowing that the new group owner is going to have a different style of yours. It could be positive, but it could be negative. And if you were to see your group die and the members of that community dissatisfied with the transition to the new owner, just make sure you're comfortable with that, especially if you put a lot of time and energy into building your group to what it is today. Now, on a more positive note, if you've already grown a large and profitable Facebook group, that shows that you have the skills to do it again. And just because you sell one Facebook group does not mean that you can't go and start another. And I'll show you an example here. After selling my previous group, I started a new group. Here it is. It's called Audience and Influence, New Ways to Get Paying Clients from Facebook. And this group now has about 16,000 members. And I love this group. I love the community. I love sharing with the members inside this group. And you can do that as well. If you sell one Facebook group, perhaps you want to start another group, maybe in a new niche or maybe exploring a completely different topic. And that's the exciting thing. Once you develop the skills of building Facebook groups, nurturing Facebook groups, and monetizing those Facebook groups, no one can take that away from you. You can always repeat the process. And that's definitely what I've done. And I do have a secret weapon that that makes it a whole lot easier. And that secret weapon is Unipro. Unipro is an amazing tool that goes out onto Facebook. It finds your ideal leads, it brings those leads over into your audience, and it starts nurturing those leads, making sure that they see your content, striking up conversations with those leads, and making them offers at the time that they're most likely to buy. Unipro has been a game changer for me when it comes to growing Facebook groups and monetizing my Facebook groups, and I know it will be for you as well. So if you haven't checked out Unipro yet, go over and check it out at unipro.com. That's what I got for you in this video, all about selling your Facebook group. If this was helpful, give it a like. And if you have any questions about the potential of selling your group or how to go through these steps that we just looked at, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I'm happy to help out. And again, if you're using Facebook to grow your online business, to make money, to grow Facebook groups, you got to check out Unipro. Go over to unipro.com. It's going to be a game changer for your business. Thanks for checking out this video. Can't wait to see you in the next video.